Good morning, everyone. I'm Parshu Ram Shrestha from Itari, Nepal. I would like to welcome you all to my presentation. My topic for today's presentation is encouraging students to communicate in English. This is my outline of today's presentation. I have divided my presentation into these topics: introduction, background, exploratory action research, my research questions, how did I explore my research issue, what did I find, my intervention, reassessing the situation, conclusion, and references. Let me start with introduction. I've been teaching at SOS Harman Minor Secondary School, Itari, for 14 years. I teach students of age group 8 to 17, and my subject is English. Mainly, there are three types of students in my school. The first group is of the students who were brought up in SOS Children's Village. They do not have or are away from their natural parents. The second group is of the students from poor families of the backward communities. They live in the areas surrounding the school. The third group of students belongs to the fee payers who come from different places in the town. Hence, there is a heterogeneous mixture of students in each class, which is a very much challenging situation for a teacher. My school has been reputed as an English medium school since its establishment. The students read English textbooks in all subjects except Nepali and social studies. They make their notes in English. However, I observed they were not so much willing to use English in their conversation with friends and teachers. They even started using Nepali more than English in my classes. Therefore, to find the cause and solution to this problem, I decided to conduct an exploratory action research, and I did it from July to December of 2019. Smith and Robeledo 2018 have defined exploratory action research as a way to explore, understand, and improve teachers' practices with better understanding and development of more appropriate ways of teaching without waiting for solutions from outside. According to Negi 2019, it is one of the best approaches for addressing classroom problems or issues or challenges. It was first introduced by Richard Smith in 2013 during a joint project of British Council and Ministry of Education in Chile. Exploratory action research is conducted at two stages. The first stage is exploratory research, and the second stage is action research. At the stage of exploratory research, first, planning is conducted in which questions for collecting data are prepared. Then exploring is conducted with data collection, and the collected data are analyzed and reflected upon. The second stage, that is action research, has also three steps. First, planning for intervention takes place. After that, the effects are observed. Finally, reflection upon the changes due to the intervention occurs. These were the research questions I started with. What are the difficulties or problems that my students are facing in speaking English in the classroom or school premises? How do my students feel if I encourage them to communicate with each other in English? What strategies can help my students mitigate their hesitation and speak English? And how much do my students participate in English speaking? To explore my research issue, first of all, I received the school principal's consent. Then I chose grade 9 students as my research participants. I interviewed the students and some other colleagues. I talked to the teachers of English, math, science, and accountancy subjects. Then I prepared a questionnaire with questions to investigate the situation. I included 10 questions related to the students' experience of speaking English. After research, I found that peer pressure was working against the students speaking English. It means when any student spoke or tried to speak English, other classmates teased, humiliated, and excluded him or her. My students also lacked rich vocabulary needed for speaking English. They did not have confidence that they could use correct grammatical structures. Similarly, they also heard teachers speaking in Nepali. So they thought speaking English was not compulsory. Most of the students also did not have a good home environment for speaking English. To help my students speak English more, I decided to conduct some student-centered activities in the class. Some of them were peer or group discussions, role-playing, brainstorming, storytelling, interviewing, story completing, reporting, picture narrating, and picture describing. I observed that more students started showing their involvement in speaking English. I listened the teacher speaking in the class and encouraged my students to speak more. I promoted group work and group mingling. After 3 months, I decided to reassess the situation via another questionnaire. This time, I found that most students felt their English speaking experience improved and better. More than 70% of the students had started speaking English more than half of their time in the classroom. They also felt that they had got more opportunity to speak English in class. Finally, I came to the conclusion that proper attention to planning a good lesson can improve the situation. Exploratory action research is a good tool for a teacher like me, which I can use for finding out the problems and challenges in the classroom. I can plan appropriate intervention and conduct student-centered activities so that being more sensitive and student-friendly, I can find the solution to any kind of the classroom problems. And these are my references. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and keen ears for my presentation. Thank you so much for joining with me.